Now, a lot of players are going to struggle with gear fear and solo anxiety, two things that go hand in hand, because if you're wearing gear that you're fearing of losing, you're going to have anxiety while you're playing in the raid. Well, today I'm going to talk about different ways that you can get over that and ways that you can combat that anxiety so you're playing much better in your raids. Exfil Zone is a game you have to take serious, okay? You can't expect to come on here casually and just play a couple raids, hop off, and expect that you're gonna make some progress. Although you can, you just have to make sure when you're playing with intention and you're going in there knowing that you're having an objective when you're playing. Raids in this game can go from upwards of 40 or 45 minutes, alright? So for that whole time, you have to be locked in, okay? This is a game where patience is always key. So that's kind of how you have to think when you're playing this game. As soon as that raid starts, you have to take that deep breath and say, okay, everything else I'm going to ignore for now. Let's focus on my task. Because anytime throughout that 45 minutes, if you decide to act carelessly, run around, overstep, overexpose yourself, it's game over. Now let's talk about your actual mindset when you're playing this game. Now when you first load into this game, early wipe, your traders are all level 1. The number one thing that I always tell myself is that all my gear is disposable, okay? All of the gear that I have is solely to max out my traders, because once you max out your traders, your gear fear is gone, okay? That's the beauty of this game. Once you level up your traders, all that hard work is rewarded to you, because all that stuff that you lost early wipe, you can now buy it back at the traders because you're high enough level to do that, okay? You start realizing towards the end of this game that money doesn't really matter. The only thing that really matters is actually having those maxed out traders to be able to use that money in the first place. So that alternate helmet that you have in your wall, that IMTV that's in your wall that you're afraid to touch because they're only level 2 traders and you don't want to lose it, go ahead and put that on, alright? Everything is disposable. Use that to take out your hardest tasks in game and get them complete, alright? Because down the line, once you get those traders maxed out, you're not going to care about dying because you can go ahead and buy all that gear right back. And like I said, use that gear for your hardest tasks, okay? Use your gear accordingly when you're actually tasking this game. If you're having a task that's requiring you to grab an item and extract with it, make sure you're bringing in your best gear because you want to make sure you're getting out. If it's a task where it's like, okay, go ahead and mark 3 of these objectives, maybe you don't even have to worry about surviving, okay? Mark those objectives, stash some stuff in your secure container. If you die, it doesn't matter. Now, the number one thing that I honestly believe disrupts a lot of players in these raids is just not having map knowledge, okay? When it comes to every single map in this game, you have to know exactly where you're going. And specifically for tasking, you need to know exactly where your items are at that you're going to, or where the location is at for your tasks, alright? Now, you can do that in many ways. There's so many guides out there on YouTube, and they'll explain everything for you. Now, the beauty about knowing the insides and outs of a map is that you know when you're putting yourself in danger and when you're not, okay? So it relieves a lot of anxiety knowing that, okay, it's safe for me to move this way. I know if I take this route, it's an immediate connection to this direction and I can get to where I have to go, all right? So playing things like that or having information like that is what's going to help you in that raid, especially knowing player spawns. And I have a lot of videos on things like that if you check the guides section on my channel. You need to learn how to fight in this game, okay? If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I'm heavily PvP focused on this game because I believe PvP is one of the key points in this game and the key reasons why anyone even survives in the first place. It's not going to be by luck. In Exfil Zone, you have to go into a raid knowing your capabilities, okay? You can't go in there not knowing whether you're going to be able to kill that next player that comes around the corner, alright? You have to go in there knowing that whatever player you see, you know exactly how to use your weapon and you're going to take out that player when it comes to that time. Now, I've made so many different types of guides in this game. You can go ahead and check them out on my channel, but one thing that I will say is that no matter how much you watch those guides, if you don't go into the raid and actually practice it, you will not get better, okay? So what you really want to do is go into these games and play over and over and over, even if you die, all right? Get that experience, fight in places you have never fought before, push fights, and understand your playstyle. If you can complete one raid, you can complete 10, okay? Once you start going into these raids, you start understanding your formula, you start understanding which routes you take, you understand where to go and where not to go. Things become a lot easier, all right? After every single raid, you should always be reflecting on what you did right and what you did wrong, what you could have done better, all right? Because things like that are what's gonna take you to the next level, to where the next raid you go into, you're a lot more confident. Once you have the blueprint on how to win these raids, you just keep doing it over and over, okay? You don't try to change the formula, you don't try to go and veer off and do something else. You just keep doing the same thing and you stay consistent with it. That's the best way to gain progress in these raids. But that's going to be it for this video. If you like this video in any way, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit up the comment section if you have any other tips for other people on how to get rid of their gear fear or their solo anxiety. And hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content, and I'll catch you guys later.